The story begins with a man named Fernando, who is both a painter and a judo instructor. One day, while he is smoking a cigarette by the roadside, a passing car splashes water and extinguishes his cigarette. He throws the cigarette into the water. Due to the rain, water is flowing all over the road, and he sees that his cigarette is floating away toward a sewer in front of the Bank of Rio and eventually goes inside it. Fernando starts following the flow of water through the sewer and reaches a bridge, from where the sewer water flows through a pipe. He then goes into the sewer pipe and suddenly gets an idea. To share this idea, he goes to a friend named Sebastian and says, "Why don't we rob the bank?" Sebastian agrees but says that they'll need a lot of equipment and vehicles, which require money. To arrange the funds, they meet another friend, Debaza, who also doesn't have any money. That friend refers them to another man named Mario, who is already a thief. Fernando goes to Mario, shares the entire plan with him, and says, "If we succeed in this robbery, you'll never have to steal again." Mario agrees to join the plan. After that, they go to the sewer line underneath the bank and start checking how long a tunnel they'll need to dig. They take all the necessary measurements, but they are also aware that there are many challenges ahead. After returning, Fernando, Mario, and their teammate Debaza begin the next phase of planning. They discover that the bank is equipped with motion sensors, meaning if anyone moves inside the bank at night, the sensors will detect it and immediately alert the nearby police station, which would send the police quickly. But Fernando explains that the motion sensors detect human body heat. He says, "I have a special suit that will prevent the motion sensors from detecting our body heat." The biggest challenge in front of them now is, after getting inside the bank, how will they open the lockers? The next day, they go inside the bank and start scouting the area. While Fernando is taking photos of the inside of the bank, some security guards spot him. They take him downstairs inside the bank for about 20 minutes, during which Fernando observes where all the lockers are located. He studies the entire layout of the bank. The security checks Fernando's camera, but they don't find anything. In fact, this was part of Fernando's plan. He had deliberately allowed himself to be caught while taking photos so that security would seize his camera. Beforehand, he had already removed the memory card. When Fernando returns, he shows his three teammates all the photos of the bank interior and explains the blueprint of how they will carry out the heist. Now, they clearly know where to dig the tunnel from and to. They also find out via TV news that all the money in the bank is insured, which means if they steal the money, the loss will fall on the insurance company, not individual customers. Now, they add another member to the team, a man named Alberto. But the biggest problem still remains: how will they open the lockers after getting inside the bank? There are about 400 lockers in the bank. If they try to open each locker manually, it will take around 1 minute per locker, meaning 400 minutes total, which is roughly 7 hours. They can't stay inside the bank for that long without getting caught. So, Mario decides to go to another branch of the same bank and rent a locker there. The next day, he visits the other branch, rents a locker, and carefully observes the mechanism of how the lockers work, so he can learn how to open them efficiently. After this, the group steals a van, intending to use it for escaping with the stolen money. They take the van to Alberto's house, because Alberto is responsible for helping the team get away safely. But suddenly, the police arrive at their location to investigate. Just then, Alberto arrives with his wife. They tell the police they were just visiting, and the police leave after a brief inquiry. Later that night, everyone begins drilling inside the sewer to build the tunnel. In fact, they have been digging the tunnel for the past 2 to 3 days, and today, while continuing the drilling, their drill machine breaks down. Mario says, "I can't invest any more money. I've already put a lot into this operation." Hearing this, Fernando becomes worried and goes to see his girlfriend. That night, as he sits under the stars with her, his girlfriend says, "The stars we see in the sky, many of them have probably already died by now. It takes millions of years for their light to reach us. They're not even really there anymore." Hearing this deeply philosophical thought, Fernando gets an idea. He rushes back to his team and says, "I have a new plan." He explains, "We'll rob the bank in broad daylight, right in front of everyone. While the police will be waiting outside thinking we'll escape through the front door, no one will suspect the tunnel. We'll escape through the sewer instead." Mario and the rest of the team love the idea, because motion sensors are not active during the day, so there's no risk of being detected. Security at night is much tighter since employees aren't present, while daytime security is more relaxed. The next day, they begin preparing for the heist. They put glue on their fingertips, so their fingerprints won't be left behind anywhere. Everyone sets out for the bank robbery. Meanwhile, their teammate Sebastian goes to finish the tunnel work underground. The rest of the team enters the bank and takes everyone inside hostage. At that moment, one security guard spots the robbery on the CCTV cameras and alerts the police. Soon, the police arrive outside the bank. Inside, Fernando has taken control of everyone, and tells the police, if anyone enters the bank, I will kill everyone inside. Then he goes back inside. Meanwhile, Mario has identified the security guard who alerted the police. So, he forces a woman at gunpoint and tells the guard outside. Finally, the guard is forced to come out. Mario then takes the guard's gun and sends him outside, as he could become a threat to their plan. Meanwhile, Fernando goes into a room and moves a cupboard. Behind the wall, he sees Sebastian, the one who was digging the tunnel, break through the wall and come inside. The tunnel is now fully complete. After this, the team heads to the bank's locker room. They have a special machine, made by Sebastian, who is an engineer. With the help of this machine, they can open a locker in just seconds. They begin opening the lockers quickly, but suddenly realize that police officers have reached the bank's rooftop. Outside, the police officer in charge of the case tries to contact Mario. Earlier, Mario had taken the security guard's mobile phone and then released him, so now he uses that phone to talk to the police. Mario warns the officer, if you don't get your men off the rooftop right now, I'll kill everyone inside. The police officer agrees, but secretly positions a sniper on the roof of the building across from the bank. Then Mario tells the officer, I want to speak with the minister. The officer replies, I'll need 1 hour to arrange that. The police and their team remain stationed at both entrances of the bank, the main gate and the parking area, as those are the only two ways in or out. Everyone outside still thinks this is just a small robbery, and assumes everyone has been trapped inside. The officer calls Mario again and says, look, you haven't harmed anyone seriously. Surrender now, and I'll get you a good lawyer. You won't get a heavy sentence. Mario replies, I need to discuss this with my team. But in reality, he just wants to buy more time, so they can finish emptying all the lockers and then escape through the tunnel. Inside the bank, there is an elderly woman whose birthday happens to be today. When Mario finds this out, he shows respect to the elderly woman by giving her chocolate. The snipers, who are monitoring everything from outside, observe this but are confused. They can't understand what exactly is going on inside the bank. They report this to the lead police officer, and shortly after, Mario lets the elderly lady go. Once again, Mario contacts the police officer and says, I've spent 15 years of my life behind bars. That's why, unless the minister himself speaks to me, I will not surrender. The officer is forced to agree. But when the minister finally gets on a call with Mario, Mario insults him, saying, I don't want to talk to you. All ministers are the same. Then he says to the police officer, I want to speak with my lawyer instead. The officer asks for his lawyer's number. Mario picks up the phone of one of the hostages, pretends it's his lawyer's number, and gives it to the police officer. When the officer calls that number, Mario answers the call himself, disguising his voice and pretending to be the lawyer. This was just a stalling tactic. He wanted to buy more time so that his teammates, who were still in the basement emptying the lockers, could finish their job. By now, they had managed to collect all the valuables, cash, gold, and jewelry, from every locker. The whole stash was being transferred through the tunnel to the getaway boat waiting on the other side. The police officer, meanwhile, starts becoming suspicious, especially when the phone number Mario had given him is switched off. That's when it hits him, they must have found another way to escape from the bank. His eyes fall on a manhole cover nearby, and he immediately realizes they're planning to escape through the sewer system. Back inside the bank, all the hostages are now told to go upstairs. The robbers then leave all their weapons behind and head down through the tunnel toward their boat where the loot has already been shifted. It turns out, all the guns they used during the robbery were fake, just toys. Because Fernando, from the very beginning, had made one thing clear, he never wanted to hurt a single human being. Inside the bank, the hostages eventually realize that the robbers have already escaped. So, they start calling their relatives from their mobile phones, informing them that they are completely safe. The police officer, who by now understands the entire scheme, sends one police team toward the manhole the robbers likely used to escape, while he enters the bank with another team. Meanwhile, we see Fernando and his team on a boat, escaping across the water. They had anticipated that the police might realize they used the sewer system to escape. So, they had cleverly diverted the water flow by building a small dam, causing the water to move in the opposite direction, masking their exit path. This allowed them to escape undetected with perfect precision. The police do find the tunnel exit and discover that the robbers left a fake bomb there. The officer quickly realizes that all the weapons and bombs were fake, but it's too late. The robbers have already reached Alberto's house with all the money, gold, and valuables. They even burn the vehicles they used, to eliminate any evidence. Afterward, they divide all the stolen wealth among themselves. A few months pass. Their lives have completely changed, they are now very wealthy. But one day, Fernando's wife finds out that he is having an affair with another woman. Furious and betrayed, she goes to the police and tells them, "A few months ago, my husband was involved in the bank robbery." The police arrest Fernando and all his teammates. The case is now out in the open. But because they used fake weapons and they didn't harm anyone, they are not given a long sentence. Fernando is released after just 7 months. Mario comes to pick him up in a luxurious car. In truth, Fernando had planned all of this from the beginning, that's why he used fake guns, so the punishment would be minimal. Also, since all the contents of the bank lockers were insured, the bank itself didn't incur any loss. Since there was no proper record of the locker contents, the robbers had hidden half of the stolen money in advance. That way, even if they were caught, the police wouldn't be able to recover the entire amount. Although the bank filed a claim for $25 million and several kilos of gold, the police only recovered $1.2 million and 8 kilos of gold, meaning, the rest of the money and gold is still with them. Now, they are free once again. The movie ends here.